Hello and welcome back. We are the Full-Time Ultras and we are here to review the game week that has just passed in the Premier League. That is game week 10. My name is Aditya and to my left I have two fans who are probably even more angry than I am. So let's start with Raghav. What
Hello.
are your thoughts?
Where to start? Where do we start?
There's
We'll
plenty
get into it.
there's
Obviously,
plenty to talk about. And then on the far left we have Shahan. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, off from mod duties because it's time for me to get my to get the demon ranting side out. Nah, it wouldn't be demon or ranting, but I'm very disappointed.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. I'm just disappointed with the whole refereeing system because it's already been a tough time as a United fan, and then when you see such decisions going in the favor of City, it hurts more. We'll get into it.
We will get into it. So let's start. I mean, where else can we start? It's the Manchester derby. And again, take it away, guys. What do you think? What did you make of that game? Like, what did you make of the start of the game? What did you make of the lineup especially? So
I think you should talk about the start of the game. I'll give you my thoughts. Or should I give my thoughts about the lineup first?
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, go
let's
for the
start
lineup.
with the lineup.
Okay,
Let's
so-
start
I also
with
had thoughts about the lineup,
Evans
but
and
you go ahead.
Maguire.
Yeah, so
Evans and
we-
Maguire at the back.
We were together
Yeah.
when the lineup came up.
Yeah.
And you saw my face as soon
Yeah.
as the lineup came out. And anyway, I was like going into this game, it was a scary thought for a United fan considering how the season was. And when I saw the lineup, I got very deflated. The main reason being that I expected someone like Rafa Varane to start. I expected Reguilon to start, considering the defensive performance against Copenhagen was quite good. We managed to get a clean sheet. Of course, there was a penalty shout in the end, but the defense did quite well to restrict Copenhagen. And the way that game ended, with that back four behind, I thought that back four would go into confidence going into the Manchester derby. And to see Varane, who was such an integral cog in that backline, not starting this game was a big disappointment. I have not been very critical of Erik ten Hag. I haven't been critical because I still feel he's working with his hands tied behind his back. But I think he, for the first time, I would say that I am critical of his lineup that he put out.
Yeah.
Because I put myself in the Manchester City player's shoes, and when that lineup comes out, and as a Manchester City player, if you are Kyle Walker or if you're Phil Foden, if you are Grealish on the left, and if you see that, or if you're Haaland and Alvarez, you see a back partnership of Maguire and Evans. As it is, you if you're City, you're going into it with confidence. But if you see Maguire and Evans, that psychologically gives you, as the opponent, a little bit more confidence going into the game because it's Maguire and Evans, right? The players won't say because they'll be like, oh, we are respectful of the lineup. Oh, Maguire and Evans, they have so much of experience. But in the back, in the dressing room, they'd be like, oh, Maguire and Evans, yeah, this shit just got a little bit more easier, right?
Yeah.
And then on the other hand side, you have Lindelof playing left back. If you are the right winger, if you are Kyle Walker, you just go like this, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is game on because you know that attackingly, you're not going to get doubled up because Victor Lindelof is not going to bomb forward, right? So Kyle Walker is like, yeah, this is goal for me, right? Because I can push higher up because I know Victor Lindelof is going to be defending deep. So for me, the lineup that was out, first of all, did not instill any fear in City if they had any respect for this United side. So I think we lost the battle. We lost, I think, 50% of that battle when the lineup came out.
Yeah.
So the first time I will criticize Erik ten Hag for putting that lineup out, and it really, really disappointed me. And before the ball was kicked, I got dejected.
Yeah. And it was interesting because he was asked about it and then he said the reason wasn't injuries or anything, it was tactics.
No, on that I just back Shahan up because I low-key expected Rafa Varane and Lindelof to be the centre-back partnership for this game. Because after Lisandro and Varane, that is our next best
No,
centre-back pairing for me.
I expected that. Sorry, Raghav, to cut you off.
Yeah.
I expected that. But there was no way Eric Ten Hag could have dropped Maguire. Maybe he wanted to drop Maguire, but he couldn't.
Okay,
Right?
so
Because if he loses, if he drops Maguire and if he loses, there was high chances, the English media is going to go crazy on him. Because they would be like, how can you drop someone who scored a winner in the previous game?
okay, so that then playing Johnny Evans is not the. Then play Maguire and
Varane. That's what you had
and play
to happen.
Reguilon, because Lindelof is not a left back.
Is not a left
He's
back.
not a left back. He can't. He deputized there, but he played there against Sheffield United.
Yeah.
He played there against Burnley. He played teams which have a low block. They're not going to double up on you. They're not going to bring a Kyle Walker and a full Phil Foden at you. They're not going to throw players like that at you. Lindelof faced a quality opponent at left back for the first time, playing as a left back. City were a quality opposition that
It's
he faced
just
at left back.
you are just inviting you're inviting cities forwards
Yeah.
Exactly.
closer to your goal,
Yeah.
which you don't want. I think he needed to go a little bit more attacking. He
Yeah.
played an extra midfielder as well.
Yeah.
So if you're playing an extra midfielder, why are you playing a centre back at left back?
Yeah.
Like, unless if Reguilon is not fit, which I didn't think that was the case because he came off on 75
Yeah.
minutes in the Copenhagen
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Why don't you just play him attackingly and just push City back?
Yeah.
We'll get to
Yeah.
let's go into the
Let's
first
go
20 minutes
in, yeah,
because
we-
City weren't at their best in the
Yeah,
first 20 minutes.
let's start talking about the game itself then, because City were not very. They were quite sloppy actually in the first 20 minutes, and I feel like United did have a fair. Like, they had a couple of chances at the very least at their goal. They didn't threaten a lot, but what do you make of that start when City are sloppy? Surely you have to go and punish them.
They were sloppy, but I think the penalty changed the game. For me, the penalty changed the game completely, because after that, City got the control that they wanted over the game, that City thrive on. Once City gain control of a game, they never let go.
See,
But even after that, first half we were good. Even after after going 1-0 down, we had one or two chances.
Yeah.
McTominay had one. McTominay had a shot.
Yeah.
no,
was
but the
the same
penalty
thing.
came after the first 20 minutes. I
Yeah.
think what
It
he is
was-
trying to say is that
We started really well.
yeah, like we kept City at
But
bay.
we kept City at bay.
I don't think-
created a chance. We created chances of our own. Scuffed those chances.
Hmm.
But we did pressurize City. We did penetrate City.
Like the
It's
game
not
plan was working a little bit, I would say.
That's what I'm saying. The penalty, I won't go into the penalty, but the first 20 minutes were like City the whole game for me weren't at their imperious best.
Yeah, for sure.
They weren't at their imperious best. What we know City can be, they weren't
Yes.
there. It was just that we weren't that good enough. But in the first half, we showed what we can do,
Yeah.
and I think goals change games, and
Yeah.
let's.
See, I kind of disagree a little bit. I don't think United were that good. Like, they were not good in the first 20 minutes as well. They were not good in the whole.
Yeah,
90
that's what I said.
minutes.
We were.
I'm just trying to say that the game plan of keeping City at bay was working until that penalty decision, which we'll come to. But I would say, I wanted United to go into this really roaring,
Yeah.
with the back of what also with the Charlton passing away looming around.
Yeah.
I thought they would go into it with more confidence,
With a bit more passion.
yeah, I know they are short of confidence, and maybe they just wanted to stay in the game and not crazily attack, and that's what happens when you don't have confidence, right?
Mm.
They feel that if they go, if they start hitting City right from the start, they get hit on the counter and then they're back to 1-0.
Yeah.
I wanted United to go fearless a little bit, and I feel that would have really helped with Reguilon and Varane starting, because
Yeah.
you have pace. Even if you're playing a little bit of a higher line, you know that you have pace to drop back,
Yes.
which Maguire and Evans cannot.
Yeah.
By putting Maguire and Evans in, you're literally saying to Pep that we are going to play a low block,
Yeah.
right? Because you're not going to have a high line with those two defenders
Yeah.
in. So those 20 minutes and the game plan from United all comes in from the starting 11.
Yes.
The reason Ten Hag gave was that he's he felt that Maguire would be more suitable playing off the right in terms of breaking City's press,
Yeah.
the first press. And he felt somehow that Varane also is more suitable playing on the right. And he felt that Evans is better playing on the left side of defense because Evans has a better left foot.
Yeah.
His weaker foot is better. But then I'm like, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work, right? Because even if Varane's left foot is not better, at least he's good on the tracking back. So at least you can play a little bit of a higher line. So I think the first 20 minutes, it was okay. We kept them at bay, but there was nothing much to like say that first 20 minutes we deserve something.
Yeah,
No,
and
not
just
something.
to your point about the lack of pace and the low block, you could see it in the first 20 minutes where you had your front four kind of pressing up against City's back 4-5 players, and then there was this huge gap in between like the defensive midfield and defense and the front four who were pressing. And City, I mean, at the start they were quite sloppy, but then as they grew into the game, they started exploiting that more and more.
Yeah.
So you really do wonder what he meant, like what the overall game plan was from Ten Hag.
You can.
Yeah, go on, Raghav.
So the overall game plan for me, I don't feel like we had a game plan. We just went into this game hoping that we can play a low block, we can play on the counter, hoping that City would make an error. Like we wanted to play on the counter basically, with Rashford in there, Bruno in there, Højlund in there. We just wanted to play on the counter and hope that we can nick a goal in the first 20-30 minutes, and then we can just stay back, defend, and get what we can from this game. But I don't think that worked with this backline as well. You could have played that low block even with Varane in that backline. I would say that you could have played a low block with Varane. Higher line, obviously you can play with Varane because he has pace. But even with Varane, you could have... Johnny Evans playing in that game was not the solution.
Because
Johnny Evans
ironically,
playing in the Manchester derby against the likes of Haaland, Grealish, Foden was not the solution, and Lindelof at left back was the worst decision ever.
see, the centre backs did not do anything wrong.
No, they didn't.
What I'm trying to say is that, what the centre backs having Varane in the squad would have pushed United forward.
Yeah.
Right. Having Evans just put us a little bit behind.
Yeah.
Our block got low, and that gave emphasis for City to attack.
Yeah.
And I just want to like not divulge into anything more and just get straight to the penalty.
Yeah,
I
sure.
think
Yeah.
if we can.
Let's get to it then. The penalty decision. Højlund hauling Rodri to the ground. Bit soft, Sean?
It's really disappointing, mate. It's more disappointing, like I said. See, for me, in first instance, if I see that, I am totally okay that, that's a penalty, right? But there are 3 reasons as to why that should have not been given as a penalty. Number 1 is that instance happens in every game in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I see pushing, shoving, pulling in every game, especially in West Ham games, in Everton games, and in games where teams are keeping low block. You have these aggressive defenders like the Michael Keanes and the Kurt Zumas and the Naif Eggers and Tarkowski, especially Sean Dyche's Burnley, and say even Everton right now, right? I've seen that in every game, right? If the referee spots it, it should be given as a penalty. I have no qualms about that. Number 2 is that the ball is not even on Rodri's head. So Rodri has no bearing on that move, right? The ball is on the far post. And the guy who's cleared the header, the United guy who's cleared the header, has cleared it fairly. Right? So the tussle is happening in the middle, and Rodri's not even part of that instance. Okay? And if someone is going to tell me that, the far post header could have headed it across Rodri, you're assuming that. So that is not clear and obvious. That's not a clear and obvious decision, because you don't know if that person is going to head it back to Rodri. And actually, he wasn't going to head it because the defender cleared it out. Right? Number 3 is that the whole claim of the Premier League this season and the PGMOL this season was like, we are going to stick to the refereeing calls. It's not like the referee was on the other side of the pitch. It was a set piece situation, and the referee can bloody see it clearly as to what's happening over there. Right? The referee sees to it that everything is fine. If the VAR is checking on a situation like that, and the checks are ongoing, and if they're taking time and they're summoning, that means they are interfering in the game. And if they're calling the referee onto the screen for a decision like that, and if the referee is changing it, looking at the screen, he's seen that 5 seconds back clearly. And if he is looking at the screen and if he's saying he's got that decision wrong, that referee should be sacked. Because if he needs to see a screen as to what he's seen 10 seconds back clearly, that means he's not doing his job right. And he shouldn't be refereeing in the next game. Right? So that means the VAR is refereeing the game. And whatever they have said, it's absolutely, absolutely wrong. So it's really, really disappointing. It's really, really angering. And I don't know whether this happens because it's City, but that just kind of changed the game entirely.
Yeah, and as you said, we were watching this together, and not only was the ref called to the screen, the game was stopped. Like the ball hadn't even gone out. And the game was stopped, and the referee was called to the screen, and we were all shocked to see that that was what he was called for. So, what did you make of that, Raghav?
I think I'll just reiterate what we've been discussing so far in every episode. The problem is consistency. It's not about the foul. It's not about handball. It's not about rule. It's not about ambiguity. We have discussed this at length that in our previous episodes. But my problem is consistency. Be it handball, be it fouls. I said it in the previous video, make it like hockey or something. Because my problem is with the consistency. Making such rules will lead to consistency, and that's what I want. There should be a standard set that this is a foul, this is not a foul, and if this is a foul, it's black and white. It's a penalty, whatever it is. Free kick, penalty, I don't care. If it's a foul, it's a foul. You can't just make it game to game that if it's a Burnley versus Sheffield United, then you will call the referee to the screen, and if it's the Manchester United or Manchester Derby, then you'll do such thing. Then that just doesn't work. You can't do it on a game to game basis. The standards should be set, and after that, it needs to be followed each game. I'll just say that the refereeing standards are really, really low in the Premier League because there's no consistency in any decision that is taken. So it's seriously horrible. Michael Oliver and Shahan during the game also. Shahan pointed out to me, Michael Oliver was the VAR who did not send Mateo Kovacic off in the Arsenal Man City game. So the same Michael Oliver, I think Michael Oliver is the problem, guys. It's
exactly. Maybe it's a City thing. Maybe Michael Oliver is wearing a City jersey inside. But what even pains me more is that Aditya, I sent you there was a moment in the Arsenal game where Højlund has the ball. He's cutting inside, and Gabriel is literally pulling him with like a rugby tackle behind. He's literally holding him like this. Like this, right? And what Højlund does in this game is he swipes Rodri. So there's a big difference. Someone just tugging you back and someone pulling you, right? Now that was at 1-1 in the Arsenal game. And the VR looked at it and they were like, that's fine. So where do we draw the line? Like, that means this just basically shows, and I was really disappointed that how poor the Premier League, the panels that we see in the game. If we, a YouTube channel who hardly gets 100 views, 150 views, can kind of think as to this happened over there, right? Why in that show they couldn't bring that instance, right, where Højlund was stuck back by Gabriel, and then why couldn't they had who's the ball guy, the referee, the ball referee Dermot Gallagher. Why couldn't that evidence kind of been put in front of him that this is Højlund being pulled? Why is this not a penalty? Okay, and why is this a penalty? And why hasn't the referee been called in that game to the screen for this to be pulled back? And why isn't this being raised? Does the Premier League know that it's been wrong? I just don't understand what's going on. It's like it just sucks out the fun from the game. Absolutely, right? I'm not saying that this could have changed the game. United would have lost even if these decisions wouldn't have been given. But what this does, as an analogy, taking United as a sinking ship, right? This decision, what it does is that the ship is already sinking, but they kind of make more holes in it. So VR practically makes more holes in it, so your so that your ship sinks faster. And that's what exactly happened. It kind of changed the whole game entirely.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like there's a lack of consistency in the officiating because, like you said, it happens in every kind of corner situation, set piece situation. There's a lot of jostling, there's a lot of tugging of the jerseys and stuff, and you hardly see them penalized. So I felt like this was a bit soft, and if this has been given, then
See, as a United fan, I
Yes.
would absolutely have no qualms if the referee called it. I
Yeah.
told it to you live.
yes,
If the referee spots it,
Yes.
and if the referee calls it,
yeah,
I'm like, fair game.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I wouldn't agree with his decision
yeah,
because it happens every game,
yes,
right? I wouldn't agree. And first of all, it was not because the ball was even not in that sequence.
yeah,
I wouldn't have agreed, but I would have at least
understood.
kind of understood that, yeah, maybe it's his decision and then VAR can't overturn it
Yeah,
because that's what the precedent was set by PGM all that
yeah,
we are not going to overturn referees' decisions until it's clear and obvious.
yeah,
But if the VAR is calling the referee to change the decision for that,
yeah,
then I just don't believe in this league and this refereeing system anymore. It's like
yeah.
it's just like it doesn't matter, it doesn't care. I don't care
Yeah.
about it.
Well, yeah, so the penalty happened and Haaland inevitably scored from it. And then you had this kind of feeling that, City were in control of the game. They had their lead. They were comfortable. United,
There were a couple of chances though.
There were a couple of chances.
Hoyland ran
and
through.
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
So largely comfortable City. And you saw the Scott McTominay shot saved by Ederson.
That was good.
That was a good shot and a good save. But they looked in control for the rest of the half, and then they almost scored towards the end of the half.
Crazy save.
Haaland, and that's a great save.
Onana.
What do you make of that save by Onana? It's a fantastic save, no?
Oh, I mean, he's coming in. I feel like the Onana hype. I won't.
No,
I
he's
would. I don't
gaining
want to jinx it.
confidence.
He's gaining confidence game by game. That Copenhagen penalty save has done a lot. I would say that it's done him a world of good. It's something he needed, and that incredible save. And even the second half Haaland header, it was just that it was above Haaland and it looped. Or else I would say that Onana reached that. Onana reached the ball, but he jumped too early. Or
For
else
the
he could
goal?
have- yeah, for the goal. For the second goal,
Hmm?
in the replays, I rewatched the game
Yeah.
because Onana jumped too early.
Okay.
Because the header wasn't a powerful one. It was
Yeah.
a looping, kind of a looping
Mhm.
header. He jumped too early, and I won't go into that because goal is a goal. But he was good. He had a good game. I won't say that Onana had a bad game, except for that one mistake where
yeah, he palms a
He palms a
Foden
See,
header.
Foden header away.
there are improvements to be made.
Yeah.
I think a major improvement Onana needs to make is to when he's saving shots,
Yeah.
he needs to parry the ball out wide.
Yeah.
So normally what Onana does is that when he saves the shot is in the box.
Yeah.
So he's not able to like push the ball out of the danger areas.
Yeah.
So I think that's an area where I think he needs to improve. And I think he can. I don't think
Yeah.
it's like a really big
I think the third goal
flaw in
was
his
that
game.
consequence. I think the third goal was because of that, because Rodri took a shot, he palmed it away, then Haaland got the
gets
ball.
it.
Haaland
And
gets the
yeah,
ball. Then
so I think
he lays out Foden.
he needs to do that better.
Yeah.
I think the Premier League kind of tests you in that way because the amount of shots goalkeepers face is kind of more.
Yes.
So maybe Onana coming into the Premier League was not used to facing so many shots, and especially when
came-
United are at this point
Exactly.
conceding so many shots. I remember De Gea also like at the start trying kind of pushing these balls in the middle and people scoring off the rebound. So I think there are small areas where he needs to improve, but I am happy seeing what I am. And he kept the damage limitation low. He made some good saves in this game.
Yeah. Yeah. So he keeps United in the game at the end of the first half. Second half, whole different story. What did you make of that? Because United seemed a bit lost, and then City get their second, and then it's like it's curtains, and City are just cruising now. What do you make of that, Raghav?
the second goal was the killer, but I think Ten Hag is not getting his substitutions right. For me, he's not getting his substitutions right because you can't remove Højlund. You bring on Mount, it's fine.
But
you bring on-
Højlund went on later.
No, he went off later, but at half
It
time
was
I
already
think Mount
2-0.
came on.
Mount came on for
Mount
Amrabat.
came on.
Mount came on for
Yeah,
Amrabat. So even I don't get the
Actually,
logic in
that is what I didn't agree with.
because
With Højlund, he said that he needs to protect Højlund because of the amount of minutes he's playing, and Højlund has a lingering back issue. So he's kind of trying to not burn him off. So I think managers now are influenced a lot by say what graphs and stats and your medical team and the laptop is telling you that this player has his maximum output till 70. You have to remove what sports science is telling you. Remove them after 70. It's like what you do in Football Manager sometimes. Yeah. So a lot of managers are influenced by that as of now, and I kind of understand why he removed him, because Højlund has been, and the way that the intensity at which Højlund plays is really very high. Because
he presses like crazy.
The one which I didn't agree with, I don't know if I have
the Amrabat was Mount,
but the way which I didn't agree was Amrabat for getting Amrabat off. Amrabat didn't have the best of games, but what Amrabat has over McTominay is the ball holding ability, and is the passing ability, and it's the ability to find spaces to get the ball. McTominay doesn't have that. And I know why Erik ten Hag has kept McTominay on the field. It's because of the English bias. It's because of the English media. It's exactly the reason why Maguire started.
Yeah.
Now what happens is that Erik ten Hag is already under pressure.
Yeah.
There's already been calls. People like Graham Souness saying that I don't understand how McTominay does not get into the side. He's the qualifying top scorer, and how does he not? Ten Hag has kept McTominay on the field to kind of take a little bit of pressure out, because if he loses with McTominay and Maguire not on the field, considering they have won him games, right? If he loses without them, it's added pressure. So that's the reason why McTominay stays on the field and why Amrabat goes off. Because if Amrabat stays on the field and Amrabat is Ten Hag signing, they would be like, oh, he kept his own signing, but he left he substituted McTominay off. And that kind of hurt us.
Yeah,
do you not think it's ridiculous that a media pressure shouldn't affect Ten Hag?
No, it will.
It shouldn't, because Amrabat has qualities that McTominay doesn't. It's pure tactics.
It's added pressure with United. It's added pressure. It will matter. Definitely it will matter. And I understand Ten Hag also in that way, not doing it. I know it's easy to say it shouldn't affect him and he should stick with his players. But maybe that's added pressure he doesn't want. So I kind of agree with it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, just quick note, Amrabat was also on a yellow, I believe. So that may have influenced it. But anyway, I mean, we could sit here for the next 30 minutes and talk about this game for sure. But we're going to have to move it along. And the next game, well, speaking of top 6 sides that are struggling,
here we go.
It's time for another one, unfortunately for me.
Yeah.
And Chelsea 0, Brentford 2. And where do we start with this one? At Stamford Bridge. Where do we start with this one? I mean, what do you think Chelsea's issues are?
No, do you
want me to go
Chelsea
first?
Fan?
I mean,
just give us a quick.
I have a lot to say about this.
Just give us a quick take of
actually,
what you
I don't have a lot to
game.
say about it. I actually just have. I can summarize it in a few sentences. It's like finishing is the
Going
issue.
into it, you did think it would be comfortable for Chelsea.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it would be comfortable, and it was comfortable.
Even
for the
I
first
thought
half.
even I thought Chelsea would win.
Yeah.
But I told you that it wouldn't be comfortable because I expected Brentford to give a fight. To
Yeah.
Chelsea.
So if you see the first half, we had so many chances that we had Kukureya. He had to score there. He had a volley close in from a Palmer pass that he had to score. He hit it straight at the keeper. Madueke hit the post. Sterling had a chance which he blasted over the bar. So it's not like Chelsea didn't have the chances.
Yeah.
We just couldn't hit the back of the net. And that seems to be like the issue with us so far this season. Like it's like where most other teams are clinical, we are not. When most other teams get, 4 chances, they put at least one away. And we did not. And then Brentford, we started the second half a bit off color. We were slow out of the gates in the second half, and Brentford came on to us. And then once they got their goal, I mean, typical Brentford, they have their goal, they have the lead, they're away from home. Sit back, frustrate. So what did you make of the game, Sean?
It was a typical Chelsea performance.
Yeah.
We've always had this discussion where from the last season that I think I've been an advocate of Chelsea.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with the sacking of Graham Potter.
Yeah.
I think he needed time. He wasn't out of his depth. It was the situations around him that was not making things easier. Kind of what Ten Hag is at the moment. I think he needed time to get things his way. He needed a preseason. For me, Poch has come in. Poch has got another war chest to spend. I just feel that it's the same issues. I haven't seen any of your signings make that big a difference.
Yeah. Except Palmer, maybe?
Yeah, Palmer. He gets in another. He's been good. A little bit of a new dimension
of course,
to City,
yeah.
but especially the others like the Sassi and Caicedo and everything. For me, Chelsea always had that. I think where Chelsea went wrong was I think they should have invested more in the attack. There's something which was lacking.
Like a striker, you mean?
Exactly. So for me, instead of investing in someone like Jackson, which I know if Chelsea were banging in 60-70 goals a season and you already have an established striker, then I feel that Jackson is a good understudy. I know Nkunku's in the team.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
And for me, Nkunku is would pray for it that Nkunku is that savior.
Yeah.
Because if Nkunku doesn't work, then you guys are in a world of pain, like last season.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more to analyze about Chelsea, is that Chelsea are just the same team like they were last season. They're good defensively. They can shut out opposition. Teams are not mostly going to score 3-4 goals.
Yeah.
Okay? So the Chelsea defense can do a job. But I still feel that all that money, the 125 on Caicedo, some other few signings that you made, I still feel that y'all needed a big striking name.
Yeah.
Someone like an Osimhen or someone like, I don't know, whichever striker. Goncalo Ramos was available on the market. Kolo Muani was available on the market. I just felt that y'all needed that striker, to kind of head that attack and someone who was clinical. I think Ramos would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Nkunku also, I don't know. He had a fantastic. Like you said, you all kind of based your preseason around him. The team was signed around him. Preseason is a different ball game entirely. So I kind of feel bad for Chelsea. At one time banter is fine, but then at one point you reach a phase where you feel that if it's a top club, but even if it's a rival team, if they're not doing well, you don't feel right. You start feeling bad. And I feel that's where I am when it comes to Chelsea. I kind of feel bad for them.
Yeah, and you can speak about the injuries as well, where we've had, apart from Maatsen and James, we don't have any, even Maatsen and James are not attacking substitute, but we had no real names to bring off the bench in that game. But let's go to Brentford for a bit, because Raghav, you are a big advocate of that midfield and how they sit in and how they frustrate teams. What did you make of the Brentford performance?
Classic Brentford. They just stayed in the game. They didn't do anything particular. It's I said the same thing in the preview. Thomas Frank side is a well drilled side. They will sit in front of you. They'll work their asses off. They'll do the same thing over and over and over again. It's because they are trained to do that, and they do it to the button. They do it to the dot. They do it perfectly well, and I think that's the most impressive thing about this side. And they take their chances when it comes, unlike their opposition they take their chances, and that's what happened in the second half.
Yes.
The Pinnock, it was an Mbeumo cross, which was converted. Mbeumo cross, which was converted by Pinnock. After that, Brentford was more Brentford than Brentford could ever be Brentford. Because they had the lead they wanted to protect. Yeah. First they were protecting a point. Now they were protecting 3 points. And then 90th minute they just had an empty goal to win it.
Currently where Chelsea are, the issues that they are having, I don't think Chelsea would like to play a team like Brentford. Like Brentford is the best opposition for Chelsea to go there and win, because Chelsea are struggling against a low block. So Chelsea's goals come, like you say, kind of say that, we are doing well against the top teams.
Yeah.
It's maybe because the defense line is high.
Yes.
Maybe now teams are looking at Chelsea and saying that maybe we can keep a low, like especially the small teams. Like the big teams can compensate because the attacks are good, right? We saw it with Arsenal.
Yes.
They can score.
Yeah.
But say if you're a Villa, or say if you're West Ham have already done it.
Everton.
If you're Everton coming into Stamford Bridge or playing away as well, we just say, we just keep in a low block. Anyway, Chelsea struggle, and Chelsea will give us an opportunity to score. So they go in looking at this game with confidence, and I don't know how Pochettino rescues this. It's a really tough run of fixtures coming up. I don't know. Maybe I heard Nkunku is close, and like I said, I think Chelsea fans should be praying that it's really big expectations to ask someone coming in from injury to kind of get things right. But it's a little bit. It's problems for Chelsea in a lot of way. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we didn't open up Brentford. We did do that, but we never finished our chances. But yes, we also lacked Enzo in this game, so maybe that was a big miss.
That was something I wanted to point out, that Enzo Fernandez was a big miss because
he's the creative spark.
Chelsea lacked that creativity. So to some extent, they lacked that creativity in that midfield. They lacked that driving force, because Gallagher, as much as good as his work rate is, he's not an Enzo. He's not an Enzo Fernandez who can drive the team forward, who can create those chances. Enzo has that knack in him to just play that magic ball, to create the chance with one pass. He can put Mudryk through, he can put Palmer or Sterling through. Gallagher doesn't have that. Caicedo doesn't have that.
He's the most creative out of the three.
He's the most creative out of the Chelsea midfield.
Yeah.
Where Chelsea also lacked depth in that department in the midfield.
Because
Enzo had to go paternity leave. He was given paternity leave, I suppose.
Yeah, and also I found out later that he also had a slight knock. So that's what kept him out of the side.
Exactly. All these factors contributing. If Enzo is out, you look out of depth. You look out of ideas. Because Gallagher, Caicedo, and the third midfielder. Who was the third midfielder?
This time it was Palmer, and I feel like he did fairly well for the first half at least.
But he is more effective when he's playing in that right-sided, like drifting into the center in that front line.
A more freer role.
Freer role. That midfield has more expectations that only Enzo can fill for now.
Creativity from deep.
And then creativity from deep, and then having those, while having that defensive responsibility of playing in midfield. So Enzo was a big miss in this game. Yeah, I think you were very confident about Chelsea being comfortable because you thought Enzo would be there.
Yes.
If Enzo was there, even I would say that they would have been comfortable.
Nah.
Not that comfortable. Brentford would have made it difficult, really difficult. But I think Chelsea would have been in the game for longer.
I think
they would have had at least one goal. They would have scored.
I feel we would have created enough chances to score one, because our chances to
the
goal
ratio is 1:10.
Yeah, it's quite horrible.
It little bit increases the chances, but the thing with Chelsea is just, I don't know what needs to be done. Maybe there has to be the attacking coaches need to be, either they have to be doing something differently, or there has to be some new personnel added to the coaching staff, because
I just personally feel that you need to trim the squad down to 25.
There's a problem with the attackers. How does trimming the squad answer? I'm talking about what needs to be done.
Because if you have a small squad, it shows that you have confidence in the players you have. If you have 24 to 25 players, you know that somewhere or the other you'll get the chances you need. Because with 40 players, if you know that Palmer, Sterling,
Raghav, I don't think we have that many players, and also we've got
too many. What does that
33?
What does that have to do with players not putting their chances in? I'm talking about. You're totally making a different point. I'm totally saying something else.
Also, we have a lot of injuries, so I mean, I don't think the squad size is an issue.
Which injuries are you talking about? Except Nkunku.
Mudryk injured.
Mudryk, I think, will be back next week.
Injured. No, but we do have injuries in that front line as well, and we did have them when we signed these players. So I don't think that's too much of a contributing factor. But anyway, we
I
have
think,
to.
sorry,
How do-
I
just a short-
I
nah.
just misunderstood your
Yeah.
point.
Nah, that's
Just
okay.
get it now.
Just shortly before we move on, I
Yeah.
just want to ask you, just to summarize, how looking at the fixtures ahead as a Chelsea fan, are you nervous going into this?
I don't know what to expect from this side, to be honest. I feel like we should be okay, but everything depends on, because there are some games in which we are finishing, but then there are some games in which we aren't. So I cannot call this side right now. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Anyway, moving on from one London side who is struggling to score goals to another London side who didn't struggle this weekend. Arsenal 5-0 against Sheffield United. Nketiah, Raghav, what did you make of it?
Man, that was one of the best performances from a striker I've seen.
That's a big claim.
No, that was a really good performance, because all three of his goals, the first goal was really good because the touch to set up the finish was incredible, because that touch needed to be perfect because he had a defender in front of him. That touch just took the defender out of the game, so much so that he couldn't touch Nketiah. He couldn't do anything about it because Nketiah was through. He just had to put it in the net.
Yeah.
That's all that he did with that touch. That touch was so good. And the second goal was a real poacher's finish because it was off a corner. It was bobbling around. Then Nketiah just poached. He just saw the ball bouncing around and he just volleyed it into the net.
Yeah.
And the third goal was an absolute banger.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the game live. I never expected him to shoot from there.
Yeah.
Nketiah, I feel he deserves more chances in this Arsenal team. Like Gabriel Jesus is there, he's the number one striker now. But Nketiah, with this performance, he's put a big claim that he should be starting more regularly, or he should be the number one striker for this team.
Yeah, and I think Jesus is injured for a few weeks, if not
He
months.
is, but
so
but when Jesus comes back, this was the case when he tore his ACL. Where after the World Cup, Nketiah came in. Then after Jesus came in, he started right back into the 11. I don't feel that should be the case. Nketiah
well,
should get a
let's
run.
see what Arteta does this time,
But
because
that performance was magic.
yeah, because now he's making
It's-
even more of a claim. What do you make of their striker?
In the end, it was Sheffield United.
Yes.
But we all went into the preview predicting that it's going to be an easy Arsenal win.
Yes.
And that game it bore fruition. Everyone predicted
My prediction
absolutely
was right.
It could have been anything.
But
it exactly makes my point as to why Arsenal are favourites with City, and why for me Arsenal are above Liverpool when it comes to challenging for City, is because in every position they now have players that can step in and do the job, and not only do the job but do the job well. There are a lot of doubts with Nketiah, considering that he's a good player, but is he at that level to play at Arsenal week in, week out? I think he shut a lot of critics up with that performance, and he showed that why a lot of Arsenal fans and a lot of people who have watched their youth teams regard Nketiah pretty highly. And exactly, like Arteta just has a lot of options. He can play Nketiah there, he can play Havertz there. So he's ridiculed, he's spoiled with choices now.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes Arsenal a very, very dangerous team. And that's why I feel that they are the closest challengers to City and not Liverpool.
Yeah. Also, on a sad note for me, I think Nketiah was a Chelsea academy guy
Oh, he
at
was?
one point. So yeah,
Ouch.
we've let.
Wait,
yeah.
until how? Was he very 6-7 years old when he
No,
left?
I mean not.
because he comes in from the Arsenal youth product. So
I
maybe
Nketiah, I think, was a Chelsea
maybe it could have
academy
been
guy.
a very young
He could have
switch,
been, yeah,
because
yeah.
that's the thing with Harry Kane as well.
Yes.
Harry Kane was with Arsenal when he was really young, and then I think 6 or 7 years old.
yeah.
6 or 7 he might have been
Yeah.
at.
These clubs
Arsenal,
pick
and
up
then
a lot of kids.
by the
at a
time
young
you're
age.
13, 14, you
Yes.
move to another this. So
Yeah.
okay, fair enough.
Just
But,
a
yeah.
quick thing on Sheffield United. This is just a yes or no question, just to confirm. They're plumb last, scored 7, conceded 29. Worst goal difference. They've won 1 game out of 10 and lost the remaining 9. Relegation for sure.
One game?
They've
They've
drawn 1 game.
yeah.
They're the
They've
only
not
team
won
yet
one
to
game.
win. They've drawn 1 game and they've lost the remaining 9. Relegation for sure.
Yes.
Sean?
What do you want me to say?
Just
What should
confirming.
How can I even back? Like what excuse can I give?
Even Pep Guardiola can't save
for,
that side. Even Pep Guardiola can't save that
Pep
side.
Guardiola can't say Manchester United as well. But
Yeah.
anyway, like
Yeah.
Pain.
what can I say? Like
Yeah.
we all thought coming into this league that Luton would be the team to finish last.
Yes.
A lot of people did, but they are doing much better than
Putting up more of a
Sheffield.
fight.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, let's move on. Liverpool 3-0 Forest. Again, we watched most of that game together. So, comfortable Liverpool win, Sean? Like,
Absolutely
what did you-
comfortable. I went in saying that if Luton can score 2 against Nottingham Forest, then absolutely don't see how Liverpool don't get more goals. There should have been more goals.
Yeah.
Liverpool should have finished more of their chances. But the football was fluid. Liverpool finally looked like a better team, more attacking, maybe because Forest made them look that way. Because Forest were very bad defensively as well. Cheap in midfield, giving away balls. But it was, very comfortable for Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool could have asked for a better opponent to play at Anfield than Nottingham Forest. And again, Salah got his goal out of what a clanger that was from Turner.
Horrible goalkeeping.
Horrible goalkeeping. But it's just Salah. The ball attracts his feet. So, all in all, Liverpool fans should be happy. Good win for them.
Yeah, and interesting to note that it was a McAllister, Szoboszlai and Gravenberch midfield where McAllister. So, like, you think McAllister can work in these sort of games as a number 6 where you have, like, I mean, no disrespect to Nottingham, but lesser opposition.
He can, of course.
Yeah,
Of
sure.
course.
Yeah, I mean, Raghav, go on.
No, inferior opposition is not the problem. McAllister, I mean, even Endo can play as a striker against Nottingham Forest or
No,
Sheffield United, but
let's not get
No, but-
to.
that's not the problem. But Liverpool's midfield problems will rise when they face quality opposition. Their lack of a proper number 6 will attract problems when they face a City, when they face an Arsenal, they face the likes of Spurs or the genuine contenders. They will face those problems because McAllister cannot play there. He's not a number 6.
He's
And-
too defensively liable.
Yeah, he's too defensively liable, and he is an attacking midfielder. He's more of an 8. He has the qualities going forward, and even in the Argentina team, World Cup winning team, he used to play as an 8
Yeah.
with Rodrigo De Paul there and Enzo Fernandez there along with him in that midfield, and Angel Di Maria and Messi.
Paredes as well.
Paredes in that midfield as well.
Yeah.
So he had that support in that Argentina team. I don't know what Klopp was thinking or what Liverpool were thinking by buying McAllister and not buying a 6 along with him. Good signing, no doubt, but they needed a 6. They needed a proper number 6 to be signed.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like,
Yeah,
they'll
but
probably get tested for, like,
they will be, but I deviated off the topic, but yeah, McAllister can do the job as 6, but not.
No, Endo can do
can't-
the job as a 6.
in the bigger
he
game.
is a 6
In the
but
bigger game.
he is a 6 because he's a natural number 6, Endo.
Huh.
But he's not being played. But once he starts playing, he's a number 6.
But I think if Klopp wants the job to be done, I think Endo can do that job.
Yeah.
I've been saying that.
Answering your question against the Nottingham side, I think Liverpool are too fluid enough.
Yeah.
Their attack is too good to, like, maybe they'll concede goals. But Liverpool have always been a side defensively where I have qualms about them. Van Dijk losing a yard. Konate and Matip are not too convincing. Robertson is injured. Trent is Trent. So for me, at least. So there are
Let's not go there.
there are defensive issues, but that has always been for the last couple of years. But what bails them out is that attack.
Yeah.
And the way Klopp emphasizes on his sides attacking.
Yeah.
So
Salah,
you
Mo
know
Salah.
that Liverpool are always going to score goals,
Yeah.
and they have that trend in them that it's like that Fergie thing, like if you score 2, we'll score 3.
Yeah. It's
So
like,
you always give Liverpool a chance to win these games easily,
Yeah,
especially
their
at Anfield.
philosophy seems to be you get one more than the opponent to win the game. Anyway, let's move on to the rest of the games. Wolves 2, Newcastle 2. And I bring this up because of one very specific incident, which... no, I will get to
Take
Hwang
me
Hee-chan in a bit. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is the penalty incident involving Hwang Hee-chan, but in the other box, which you saw, Raghav. And how is that a penalty? I don't know how that's a penalty for me, but did you see it as a penalty?
Nobody can see. I don't see how anyone can see that as a penalty. Let alone me, you, Shahan, or whoever it is. The only person capable of seeing that as a penalty was the panelist on the preview. Maybe.
I saw the I didn't see the game, of course. I saw the goals. I saw this, but what exactly happened there was, did the referee give the penalty?
Yeah, referee gave the penalty, but VAR didn't overturn it, which according to me is ridiculous, because when we say that the Manchester Derby penalty incident, that
Was it very clear and obvious?
No, VAR slowed it down so many times, and
it looked like it's that classic situation that if you slow it down, it looks like a foul.
But I didn't see any contact there. Like
there
you could
wasn't
see
any
a
contact.
very slight clip maybe on.
It's like that
on the heel?
Jota on Udogi, that thing.
Okay.
That the first yellow they say that there's no contact on.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like it's like that.
Okay.
It's something
It wasn't even, and in this case, it wasn't even a lunge. They were just going for one ball off a corner. It came off a corner. I think it was.
So Hwang tries to clear the ball.
Yeah.
And the Newcastle player, I don't remember who it was. Guimaraes. So he tries to he pokes the ball away, and as Hwang is swinging, there's maybe very minute contact at best. And Guimaraes makes the most of it, and he's rolling on the floor, and the ref gives a penalty. So,
but my concern is that how has VAR not overturned that?
100%.
How has he not overturned that? He should at least be calling the referee to the screen. If Michael Oliver can call the referee to the screen for what is not a foul, why can't the VAR call the referee for what's genuinely not a foul to overturn what is wrongly being given clear and obvious error?
In my view,
what is PGMOL doing?
This one
what is a clear and obvious error?
What
the hell is going on?
I don't want, Liverpool fans say that, give us a replay. Replays with these same, these fools refereeing. How is the replay going to matter? Eventually, these fools are refereeing every game. So, I just don't understand why do we need to ask for replays when this whole system
is flawed.
Starting at Mr. Howard Webb, who came in with wearing his blazers and trying to give confidence to teams that, we are doing this, we are doing that. You are not doing jack, man. Y'all are not doing anything, and it's gotten worse, and the consistency is way worse this season.
It's
so
the worst
instead
it's ever
of getting better, it's gone horribly bad.
It's the worst it's ever been.
It's horribly bad. We are hardly 10 games in the season.
Yeah, it's 10 games.
It's been horrible this season.
And in every episode that we've recorded so far, there's been some controversy.
Yeah.
Involving VAR.
Yeah, and we'll be here all night if we talk about VAR.
Yeah.
So let's move along.
But Wolves. Hwang
Hee-chan, the goal, brilliant.
Really underrated player. I know him, of course, because of
big
my Korean links. But he's always been an underrated player. Works his ass off. Good presser, good finisher as well. And I'm glad Wolves are doing well, man. Considering what everyone predicted at the start of the season. And of course, we'll get to the rest of the predictions with Bournemouth. They got their win against Burnley, but what a big mistake it was for Bournemouth to part ways with Gary O'Neill.
Oh,
and
yes.
Then Gary O'Neill comes to Wolves and he is completely changed it around.
Yeah.
So what he was doing at Bournemouth, this just shows what he was doing at Bournemouth. I don't want to jinx it. And now after 2 or 3 weeks, we see that Wolves are back in the relegation. I hope that's not the case. But what he's done with Wolves really shows the quality that he has brought to the Wolves setup, and Gary O'Neill needs to be props need to be given.
Yeah. Another player which has gone unnoticed is Tito Gomez.
Totti Gomez.
Totti Gomez. Sorry, I
so underrated you don't even remember his name.
Yeah. But anyway, I think you wanted to add something for Pedro Neto.
Yes, Pedro Neto.
Yeah, quickly you can do that, and then
big miss, hamstring injury. Pulled up. I mean,
it's sad. Really sad.
Really
I think he had a goal contribution in every game, almost every game.
He had 1 goal, 6 assists in 9 games.
Big miss for them.
I think if he can work on his injuries, maybe a top club is hovering.
Arsenal was interested.
No,
there were rumours that Arsenal is interested.
I would take Pedro Neto and Hwang Hee-chan both.
Arsenal was interested in Pedro Neto.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Palace 1, Spurs 2. Straightforward.
Actually no.
No,
Actually,
actually, it
no,
wasn't
but-
straightforward. I watched this game.
Yeah,
forgot about
I
this
think
one.
Palace
Everyone did.
Friday
Palace
night,
were
man, lots
fantastic.
happened.
In the first half, I would say.
Yes.
They completely played around Spurs, which was so kind of shocking to see. I think Postecoglou himself looked a little bit jarred on the touchline. They had some good sequences, but like Chelsea, they just can't put the ball into the back of the net. That costed them. And then Spurs were most of the game and the start of the second half. The first goal came from a counter, but their counters are fantastic. Like,
yeah.
the first goal came out of nothing. It was a deflection, but the second goal was like really, really good to watch. The interplay between Maddison, Brennan, and Son finishing
Yeah.
it off so clinically. It just shows that now Spurs can dig deep to win games as well. So yeah, another 3 points for Postecoglou, and they're just going
Yeah.
making strides.
Another VR controversy.
Oh
For the-
yeah,
for the Palace
yeah,
goal.
Palace the
I mean, how is that goal standing? It just stole. I'll just talk in terms of FPL. It stole 4 points of all Spurs defender assets that anyone had.
plus
because-
bonus points. If I
Yeah,
didn't
plus
own
bonus points.
Udogie was injured for me, but if I had a Spurs defender in that in my playing 11, and if I see that happening, I'm banging my bed or my
Again,
screen
it
or
comes down to
whatever.
the fact that what is a clear and obvious error? The ref has not spotted the handball. VAR has the chance to spot the handball. It's a clear handball. This time I will even I will say the guy who says that there is ambiguity. That is a handball.
There's no ambiguity about the offensive handball rule. If it hits your
Yeah.
hand before,
Okay, defensive
They
handball.
don't
Yeah,
know
offensive
their
handball.
own. They don't know their own rules.
yeah,
but yeah,
it's just a mess.
let's not give
Yeah,
them more
let's
footage.
let's
Let's give
not-
them footage later. on.
Yeah, let's move along.
Let's just
Yeah.
give him foots.
A couple of
In their
surprising
necks.
results now. Starting with Brighton 1, Fulham 1. No one saw that coming, I'm sure. At least none of our panelists did. We all predicted
no.
comfortable Brighton win.
I don't know what happened. I think Brighton are becoming as unpredictable as Aston Villa, or as not Aston Villa. I would say as unpredictable as us or Chelsea.
Yeah.
You never know what you'll
Yeah.
get from them. But I don't know what's going on at Brighton. Like, what's going wrong for them? Maybe it's the summer. Like, what to say? The summer outgoings, Caicedo and McAllister. And
They're
all
still
the other
finding
players.
their stride, I think. a
Yeah, they
little
are.
bit, so.
The new players. I
Hmm.
think that midfield. is
They have
finding
some
their feet.
injuries as well, but it's a little bit unpredictable from them, and it's a good point in the end for Fulham.
Fulham for sure. Yeah, the other surprising result. West Ham 0, Everton 1. Shahan, you...
Not
don't
a
think
crazy surprise.
Yeah.
I thought West Ham would. I didn't think it would be comfortable, but I think West Ham could have gotten the job done. I made a point saying I think maybe traveling to Greece I think it was Greece, right?
Yeah,
It was
Olympiacos.
Olympiacos.
Yes.
Traveling to Greece in midweek, especially away, can have bearings on you playing on Sunday. Maybe that affected them a little bit, but Everton, like we said, were quite impressive against Liverpool. So all in all, they kept a clean sheet. When I remove Pickford bloody starts keeping clean sheets. But all in all, good result for Dyche. Gives them a big hope of staying up, which I always thought they would. So-
Sani Basin scored.
and Calvert-Lewin,
Sonny
when
Basin
he's on the pitch, he always does
Yes.
contribute. So
he does.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
big.
yeah.
He's a big player.
He's a
for
big
them.
asset for Everton.
They need to manage him better.
Yes. Yeah. Like a team that makes me keep eating my own words. Burnley. Bournemouth 2-1 Burnley. I mean, I don't. I'll just take this one because I was backing company, and from what I saw, Burnley.
Are Luton above Burnley?
Yeah, they are. I think,
yeah,
they are,
Luton
they are.
above the
They are,
relegation
yeah.
zone. I think.
Luton are outside the relegation zone.
Yeah. So.
Who are the three in relegation now?
I think it's Sheffield,
Sheffield, Bournemouth, and
Yeah.
Burnley. Okay.
Yeah.
No. With this win, I think
No,
Bournemouth would go up.
went up, no?
They would go up, ideally. They would go above Luton because they lost to
Let me
Aston
just
Villa.
Check that for y'all.
Since by the time you check that, I would just like to say that it's more pressure on Burnley. I think company is just not able to do something off his squad, and I think maybe a change is incoming. Someone to galvanize them, like a Gary O'Neill. So I wouldn't be
Will
surprised
he
if
leave
company
Wolves?
gets sacked.
Gary O'Neill will leave Wolves.
I'm saying like a Gary
Like a
O'Neill
Gary
type
him.
of a
Sorry,
figure
sorry.
who can
Yeah.
come in and change things quickly. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they are heading down.
Yeah, so basically Bournemouth and Burnley have exchanged places now. So it's
Okay.
like
So
Sheffield United bottom, Burnley 19th, Luton 18th.
yeah.
okay.
No, sorry, Bournemouth's climbed above and Luton's come down.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else
What
did
else?
we
Luton
have?
was, I think, Aston Villa.
Yeah,
Luton.
Aston Villa
Aston Villa,
3-1. I mean,
Comfortable.
nothing much to say
talk
about that one.
It was an easy win.
Easy
for
Villa win.
Yeah, and like that,
Just
that's-
disappointed that they couldn't keep a clean sheet. That's all. That's all.
They conceded in the 90th minute.
That's all. I think
it
we
was
have
a
to
looping
say.
header, no? What was it?
I do. It
was a very chaotic
it was
goal.
A bloody Konza header. It was a Konza header onto the post
Oh,
and it
yes.
hit Martinez
Hit the-
and went
and
in.
Yeah, it's a Martinez
What
own
the
Very
hell
goal.
was he
unlucky,
doing
yeah.
there?
Yeah, it was a very chaotic. It's a sorry goal
What
to
was
concede.
Konza doing there?
It's a sorry goal to concede at the end of such a game. Anyway, yeah, that's about it for
We've
us.
We've talked most about
We've
it.
covered all our games. We've covered, I mean, the Manchester derby was the big talking point, of course. But we'll be back for a preview episode for Game Week 11. It'll come out on Friday.
Yeah.
So please stay tuned for that, and please like, share, subscribe, follow us all on all our socials. The links are, or the links are on the overlay that we have. It will be down here somewhere.
Guys, please like the videos as well. Like, whoever, it's free to like. Even if you all don't, please like it. It'll just help us a little bit.
We
So,
promise
yeah.
we'll get better. And please give us your feedback in the comments.
Please let us know in the comments below what you think.
Yeah, what we can improve, how we can get better, because we'd like to make more quality content for you.
Something more if you'd like also for you all to see. And
Yeah.
if we can cover, we definitely look into that as well.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So that's
So,
it
yeah.
from us. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Peace.
Bye bye.